Hey, what's up everybody? It's Crystal Luster here, and I'm sharing my unsolicited opinion about some things going on, starting with Jaxn. So of course, a lot of people have been talking about Jaxn on social media, himself included in the third person, but we'll get to that. So if you don't know anything about Jaxn, his claim to fame has been helping people as a relationship coach, but he just came out and confirmed that he cheated on his wife. Him and his wife did a whole video and they did a live chat after, so on and so forth. So I'll first give the disclaimer that I didn't even really know that Jaxn existed until this week. So yeah, I've never really subscribed to anything that he's said. I don't know anything about him outside of the video that I did watch of him and his wife, just to provide a little social commentary because everybody's talking about it, and that's what I do, is provide social commentary. So let's go. 5 things that I learned from watching the video of Jaxn and his wife discussing his infidelity. Number 1, clearly Jaxn is probably a narcissist, and I say probably because I don't know him personally, and I try really hard not to pass judgment on people that I don't know. But just listening to his video and listening to how he talks, he's probably a narcissist. What does that mean? He's all about himself. He refers to himself in the third person, like so. Crystal Luster is going to talk about Jaxn, talking about Jaxn. Crystal thinks that this is a really silly way to talk about Crystal's self, but that's how we're going to, well, Crystal is going to talk about, Kev, I understand what you did. If you know what I'm talking about, you know, we're here. So Jaxn is probably a narcissist. What does that mean for his marriage? You know, not everybody can be married to a narcissist. It has to do with that personality trait and your personality trait. Obviously his wife, you know, is compatible. Otherwise she probably would not be married to him. So that's just kind of a fact that I'm stating. Everybody has talked about it. Okay, yes, he's probably a narcissist. It's not fun for most people, I guess I can say, but for some people it doesn't bother them as much. So you deal with it. Okay, number 2. People stay in marriages every day with all kinds of issues. It can be something as extreme as infidelity or, you know, an abusive relationship, or it can be something really small like being not pleasured in bed, or, you know, having an issue with hoarding pictures of kittens. I don't know what it is, but everybody has something. No married couple is just completely rid of any type of irritant. That is not realistic. So I think for all the single people that are commenting on the fact that she's staying with him, there's no such thing as a perfect marriage. So sorry to bust that bubble, but it's true. There's just not. So number 3 is very closely related to number 2. Don't be so quick to judge. It's just really important to understand that you could say, oh, I'll never do that, or that'll never happen to me, but you really honestly have no idea what can or will happen to you. When you get married, you are merging your life with somebody that is honestly a stranger, and I don't care how long you've known them. You don't know a person, like really know a person, until you know them biblically, which is what happened after people got married. And I'm not just talking about sex here. I'm talking about just really getting to know a person by intertwining your soul with that other person. And they can push you to limits. Everybody comes with baggage. Everybody has a way that they grew up that was acceptable, and then you have your way that you grew up that was acceptable, and you're trying to merge these 2 lives together. And so you can't be so quick to judge because you never know what may happen. I personally have not had that experience that, you know, Jaxn's wife had. However, I'm not gonna sit back and say, oh, you know, I trust my flesh enough to never ever have to worry about something like that. No, that is why we pray. That is why we do all the things to try and make sure that our marriage is divorce proof. And unfortunately, it doesn't work for everybody, but we just do the best that we can. We pray over our marriages, we speak life to our marriages, and we put up boundaries. Boundaries are important. You have to be practical about the boundaries. So making sure that you're not having those late night phone calls, because people don't just wake up and jump in bed with people. It starts with conversations. It starts with pushing those boundaries back a little bit more. Accountability, all those things are important. And if you don't have those things in place, you too could be having a third person conversation with, you know, your spouse talking about why you cheated. it can just happen because nobody, absolutely nobody is just disaster proof when it comes to messing up. Number 4, keep things in perspective. So again, I've never really subscribed to Derrick Jaxn. However, knowing how the social media space works, once you're out there and you're a public figure, you kind of deal with things differently. So I looked at it, and I'm not gonna lie, I looked at her body language and she definitely looked like she did not want to be there. However, you have to put into perspective the fact that she is now reliving one of the most embarrassing moments of her marriage in front of millions of people, and she has to deal with comments, he has to deal with comments, you have all of these, phone calls and emails and messages and DMs and all of those different things that you have to deal with, people calling her stupid, people talking about her hat or bonnet or whatever, people talking about her outfit and not having on makeup. So it's like, not only do I have to deal with publicly the embarrassment of my husband cheating on me, but now I have to deal with people talking about how I look while I do it. Come on, guys, let's extend a little more grace to her, because that had to be really, really hard. And she made the decision to stick in her marriage. There are people who work it out, and they're doing it publicly. That makes it like 100 times harder. And so I'm sure that you guys were probably expecting for me to like rip her to shreds, but no, I'm a woman, I'm a wife, she's a woman, she's a wife, and marriage is hard. Put it in perspective. She's having to do all of this in the public eye. It's not fun and it's not easy. Last but not least, there is no such thing as the perfect guy. Period. That's the story. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Seriously, guys, there's no such thing as the perfect woman. There's no such thing as the perfect guy. Any one person is susceptible to messing up in one way or another. That's just humanity in a nutshell. And I think we have this idea because of social media and Hollywood and movies and all these different things that there's such thing as like the perfect guy who will never hurt you. They don't exist. They don't. It's just sorry. Get that out of your head. It does not exist. The moral of the story is Derrick is human. He's probably a narcissist. He probably does definitely need to continue personal counseling, and I would suggest that they continue, marital counseling. He's the one with all the books and followers, so I don't know that he would take my suggestion, but that would be my recommendation for anybody who's watching. If you're a single person and you're thinking like, oh, is this what marriage is? For some people, yeah. Sorry, it's not as glamorous as, the wedding day, but is marriage worth it? Absolutely. Can people build trust and recover from situations even as terrible as this? People do it all the time. And you just have to decide what your boundaries are, decide what your deal breakers are, decide how to build your life and how to move forward, because it's a lot and it takes a lot of work. Be accountable. Do the best that you can not to put yourself in that situation by being accountable, by praying over your marriage, by, having people that check you when you're wrong, by being honest with yourself and with your spouse when your needs aren't being met or when you aren't meeting your spouse's needs. All of those things are important. So those are my 5 things that I learned. Hope you enjoyed. Talk to you soon.